Hey, what's up guys? I am back with another speed build video. Today is going to be a very different video though. This home was not built by me. It was built by another YouTuber that goes by the name Lunar Simmer. She does really cool speed builds on her channel. I'll make sure to also link all her socials in my description, including the link to this specific video. I recommend you check her out. She's super fun to watch. She's super creative, especially with this build, which was created for the Very Veggie Legacy Challenge. And the theme was like spot on. I think she captured the grungy look of the Legacy Challenge, and her usage of the main color brown was really good. I think I couldn't have done it any better, so kudos to her. So if you haven't already, check her out. As far as what I changed in the build, my main objective for this build was to brighten it up and to do a makeover, not specifically following the challenge, but more so just because I thought it was a really cool build, and I really was interested to see what I can do with it and how fresh I can make it. So I cleaned up all the garbage and the grungy details she added onto the walls. I also brightened up some of the wallpaper, just to make it seem like it has like a fresh overlay. I really didn't want to change too much in the house. I ended up keeping the same layout. I had only changed, I think, the windows in this build, only because I felt like it really woke up the build, and yeah, I didn't know if I could make the original windows work. But yeah, I really enjoyed doing this because I don't normally use another YouTuber's build, but when I saw the video, I don't know, I had a little bit of inspiration and I wanted to see what I can do with it. The color brown was super easy to use. That is one thing I kept true to the build, is I used a lot of brown, so it's technically in theme. But right here, I'm just adding some plants of my own, just replacing the previous plants, trying to make this house seem a little bit more alive, seem more clean, and just trying to make it look as interesting as I can. Yeah, so there is a bunch of plants that I use quite often throughout the build, just because I felt like it just went really well with the brown. Here I am just sizing things down. But yeah, I hope you guys like this makeover I did. I am really curious if you guys want to see more makeover builds. They're definitely easier, I would say, to do because I don't have to worry about like a layout. But yeah, like I really had fun kind of like deleting everything and just replacing everything. I don't know, something so satisfying. Taking like a rundown build or like even doing a makeover for a room is really fun and satisfying to do, especially when you see the before and after pictures. So here I am just replacing the flowers. Just because I wanted to try something a little different than what she had, although what she had was really cool and fit perfectly. I don't know, I was trying something new. I think when you do a makeover build, it's okay to kind of venture off a little bit. Yeah, so I'm just expanding the porch a little bit more, just because I thought like when the Sims during gameplay would walk around, I'd want like a little bit more room. But all in all, I really did enjoy this build. I would definitely try to use it for like a future gameplay, And it has a very unique vibe to it. I've never seen a home use green and red and white, and like the specific layout was just really smart. Here I am deciding whether I want to keep the ladder or not. But yeah, so I'm just trying to clutter up the area, and right now I'm just replacing the windows. Like I mentioned before, yeah, I thought these windows fit perfectly, and they're not too different from the original windows, as far as kind of like the age of them. And I also replaced these windows also, and I think they work really good. I did end up keeping that like vent thing there, so yeah, so I'm just trying to make the front area just a little bit more cluttered with like plants, and I'm working on the doorway area here, trying to make it seem a little bit more welcoming. And yeah, so I did want to talk about just my plans for the new update. So the new expansion pack that's coming out is, I did have some time to kind of look at some of the items. I do have it ordered also. I'm really excited, mostly for the plants. Like the whole pot system that they're introducing to the game was really cool. I kind of wish I had early access so I could have used that in this build. Unfortunately, I have to wait a week like everybody else. But yeah, so I can't wait to see what I can do as far as like fairy builds. And yeah, I don't know, I liked it. I did agree with a lot of the criticism though. I thought the having like a single bed was kind of like an important thing that they didn't add, as well as I really wish there was more artwork that they provided that you didn't have to unlock throughout gameplay. That's like, I don't know, I love artwork, and I feel like we can never have enough artwork. I'm always running out of stuff to use. And yeah, so right now I'm just kind of making the backyard a little more friendly, and like I'm trying to add like a seating area and a barbecue station. And I end up adding a fireplace also, like a fire pit area, which I thought fit really well, just tucked in the corner there. Yeah, so I did also try to use only plants that I feel like fit with the rest of the house. I didn't intentionally try to use like modern looking plants because I felt like it just didn't go well with the build. But back to the pack. Yeah, I'm curious to see what you guys think of it. I mean, the fairy dynamic I really like. It's just I feel like when they do have a bunch of build content and furniture, there's always kind of like a big miss with the packs. I just like, for the kitchen pack, like the kitchen clutter pack, to come out with like really nice paintings and swatches and stuff, and for like the nature whimsical pack not to come out with like barely any. I don't know, I found that very bizarre and disappointing, because that was kind of like what I was looking forward to. I feel like when I go into a whimsical build, or a build that like has like enchanted creatures in it, the paintings are what make it, you know? It's not necessarily only about like the furniture, but the paintings really tell a story. I play Palia on my own time, and I feel like the paintings in Palia are just one of my favorite parts. Every time I go down to the shop in the game, the paintings are usually what I spend my money on mostly. So yeah, stuff like that. I'm just here cluttering up the pots I placed. I'm really curious if you guys have gotten the pack or are planning to get it anytime soon. It does come out next week, I think on Sunday. but hopefully by that time this video's up. But yeah, so it took me a little bit editing this video because taking the before and after pictures, I wanted to make sure it was like coordinated with each other. I didn't want to take a before picture and the after picture be at a different angle, so that kind of took me a little bit. But the more I do this type of style video, I think the better and the faster it'll be. Here I am doing the doorway. I am getting rid of every like detail of like cobwebs and stuff. I think she did a really good job, especially with making it look like so messy and really like torn down. Like it looks really cool in that regard. So seeing the before and after, there's quite a drastic change in my opinion. You know, I'm still keeping the same colors. The only thing I'm changing is just like the furniture and like the style and a little bit of like the clutter. So yeah, so I'm just going in with a bunch of wallpaper ideas. I do notice that that wall underneath the staircase is like, I don't know, has like a weird clip in it, and she was able to cover it, but I just, with the style I was going for, I wasn't able to, so I ended up adding a wall there just here. And I also, like, while I was editing, I noticed that I did miss a couple like grungy details, that like stains and stuff that were on the wall that I didn't delete. But that's okay. I feel like they're not as noticeable, and who knows, it might add a little bit more character to the build. So I'm just adding this mirror here. This mirror specifically, I really enjoyed using it. It works perfectly with this like table. I don't know, I feel like it's a set. I'm not too sure if it is or not, but it just fits really perfect. I'm just adding a bunch of clutter and some stuff to kind of make it more lived in. But yeah, so I'm really happy with the result of this build. I think it has a lot of like cozy vibes to it, and like obviously a lot of brown. So right here I'm just adding a bunch of stuff that I think would fit in a doorway, some clothes, some shoes. I really wanted to use this umbrella set thing, so I was trying to figure out what I would pair it with. And then I realized like this plant was a little bit too modern. It was too like square-like for this like house, so I ended up replacing that. I do like this potted plant. I just feel like sometimes it kind of looks off, you know? Sometimes like it's just not as full as I want it to be. So I ended up going with this one. And yeah, I forgot what I added to this part here. I think I added another plant, just sized down. But yeah, so yeah, and then I wanted to add some artwork in the corner here, which is like really modern. So I end up sizing these, and I try to kind of fit it in a way where it looks like a collection of paintings, which I thought was really cool looking. I have done that type of design before in my ranch build, so I really enjoyed that. And I ended up going with this super aesthetic rug. I liked the way it looked, and more importantly, I liked the way it fit. I felt like it fit perfectly with this area. And like always in my doorways, I really enjoy adding like a center table where they can drop their keys last minute. I don't know, it's one of my favorite things to add in a doorway. I just feel like sometimes if a doorway is too big, there's this like center gap that's just like so bizarre looking and so empty, and I don't really like leaving it blank, so I end up using this. And this plant, I don't think I've used this plant before, but it's beautiful. The swatches are really rich, and I'll definitely be using that plant way more in other builds. I just have to remember to. I'm just cluttering up this area, trying to make it seem like the Sims that live here come and go and drop stuff off. But yeah, if you had to ask me my favorite part of this build, weirdly enough, I really like the bathrooms. The combination of like black, brown, and blue are just, it just looks so clean. And I definitely want to incorporate that in my original build for this challenge. Here I am deleting as much stuff as I can before I start playing around with the furniture and stuff. But yeah, like as I'm going through this build, I notice how much clutter that I don't actually use and she ends up finding in like live chat edit items type of stuff. And I don't know, that's why I kind of like wanted to look at the remote. I'm like, oh, I haven't actually noticed that was in the game. But yeah, I feel like when you download a house from the gallery, you learn a lot of things about just where people place things, different styles. It really allows you to venture off your comfort zone. And I felt like this build was like really cool and very versatile. I feel like the build itself, like you can rearrange like the kitchen area and the living room area, like they were like similar spaces. And yeah, but I really liked the layout as is, so I kind of kept it the same. I just replaced all the furniture and obviously the wallpaper and the flooring. I did end up changing this couch because I just felt like it was just too farm-like. I do have the armchair in the doorway section. I don't end up changing that. I just felt like having it in the living room was repetitive and it didn't really add much character, so I end up changing that 3-seater couch entirely to the leather one we got in the game, which I thought kind of added a little spunk to the build itself. So here I am trying to figure out where to add the armchair, and I'm not too sure if this set comes with a 2-seater. I assume it doesn't because I couldn't find it, but yeah, back to the new pack, they have a set, and the couch like set doesn't have a 2-seater, which is also disappointing. Because a lot of my builds, they rely on 2-seaters because I just feel like it just completes it, you know? Having like a 3-seater couch, which like takes up a lot of room as is just a lot. It's just a lot of room, and I feel like a 2-seater couch is like the perfect size for like the edge of a corner in a room and stuff like that. So here I am trying to add a little bit of variation to the house. I didn't want it to be so uniform. And this part specifically, I was struggling to find kind of like a bookshelf or item to kind of cover up that like clipping in the wall that's just like a straight line across. But yeah, I'm just trying to find a lamp or a light to kind of warm up the area, and I end up using this one throughout a couple rooms in the house. I brought that table from outside just to tie in the outside to the interior, and yeah, so here I'm adding a candle. I feel like when you add a candle to the build as a lighting source and you're working with brown, it really helps incorporate like a warm feeling to the living room. Or even to the kitchen if you decide to add a candle there. But yeah, so I am like really surprised with what I was able to do in this build. And like while I was editing this video, I had fun playing around with the screenshots, like seeing the before and after. You don't really realize what a drastic change a makeover has until you see the before and after pictures. The one thing I will say is the exterior doesn't look too different. it still looks pretty like spot on to the original, which I wanted. I didn't want to kind of disrupt the build itself, you know. I just wanted to kind of brighten it up, which I think I did. And if she does end up seeing this video, I hope she likes it. It was definitely something I really want to do again. So I hope she makes like another like rundown build so I can do a makeover for that one. I just, yeah, like it was probably one of the more fun builds I've had to do this month, only because I felt like it was so uniform, you know, and it was so organized, working on each room, and I had a better train of thought throughout doing this. Like when you are doing an original build, it requires a little bit more like thinking of just like where the wall's gonna be, how far do I want the roofing to go, do I want the roofing to have like a little detail on it that like is attached to like a greenhouse. Like it's way more to think about. But when you have a house that's already like incredible and you just want to do like a whole revamp makeover on it, it just, I don't know, it's less thinking and more fun. So I do enjoy making my original builds, don't get me wrong, I still think it's fun. I just think more work is required for it, I guess. But yeah, so I ended up just replacing the chess table. I wanted to place the chess table in the corner, but it didn't really look right. And then I realized like the chairs lock into each side of like the chess team, so I end up just like leaving it in the same spot and just replacing the clutter. There is a like floral box crate that I use that is from the original. I noticed that while I was editing, so that was kept the same. I just like this box right here, I just replaced the clutter that was on top of it and moved it to the side. But yeah, all in all, like I'm really happy with this build, and I think that I think it's very fitting. I used a lot of brown in this build. Maybe this would still be considered like a part of the challenge. I just need to add a bunch of garbage everywhere, I think. But yeah, but I can't wait to do a version of my own and see how kind of like grungy I can make it. Because usually if you have seen my other builds, the majority of them are super pristine and more on the modern side. So it'd be a really interesting challenge. But yeah, here I am adding kind of like an end table to kind of like fill this wall up. I'm just trying to figure out what I want to put on this crate. I end up putting, I believe, a bunch of like puzzles and that stack of puzzles we got in the clutter kits this past year, so I end up putting that on top of there, like the board game puzzle stack, which I thought was really cool. I end up using that like container of umbrellas like quite a lot in this build. I don't know, for some reason it fit really well in this aesthetic, and I always realize when I do a speed build, I land like I pick out a certain clutter item and I just reuse it quite often, and it's always something different. It's never the same. I think the other build I used a bunch of calendars, I think it was. I'm not too sure, I can't really remember. But yeah, so I'm just finishing off the living room here. Then I'm moving into the second like doorway type hallway area. I do end up kind of like repeating a little bit of the style from the original doorway just to tie it in. It doesn't end up being completely the same. I add just like a new clothing rack. I really wanted to make the shelf work. I don't use the shelf often, but I originally was just going to leave it like this and add a chair, but I just felt like it was the shelf itself was just a little too big for the area, and I felt like sizing it down would look a little weird, so I didn't end up doing that. I ended up adding like this clothing rack here, and replacing the chair, so it's different from the other side. But yeah, so I'm really happy that they added like more clothing variations for like for this type of look, because I feel like we were definitely lacking. I do hope they end up adding more storage variations, because I feel like I've used this one quite a bit. Here I am adding a table in the center of the room, like I always do. I just feel like it completes it. Yeah, so I do bring in a similar rug, and right now I am looking for some paintings to kind of clutter up the area, to brighten it up with some art. But yeah, so I've used this painting once before in my Dimitri apartment, and I really like the look of it. I think it looks really cool, but it doesn't really work that well for many like builds that I've done, so I don't get to use it as much as I'd like. But here I am figuring out the desk area. She did have a desk here as well. I'm just revamping it and replacing it with an upgraded one, and trying to figure out what chair I want to use to tie in the build. But yeah, I think this little area is a cute little area that I don't really normally add like a desk unless like it's like an apartment and somebody like a singular sim lives there, or like the desk is in their room. So having a desk in like in front of a door area is very unique, and I'm glad I tried it. I think it looks really cool. It's a good use of the space, and it makes sense because I feel like if there's rooms in a house that aren't exactly big enough, having a little desk area in front of the doors is a good use of the space, you know? We already have like a doorway area, so adding like another clothing closet wouldn't really make that much sense. So here I am adding a plant. I love using that plant. That has to be like one of my top favorite plants. It works really well. The shade of green in the actual plant is perfect. Super versatile, and in this room specifically is when I realized that I really wanted to use navy blue in contrast of the brown I used in this build. I just feel like blue works really, really well with brown, which is like pretty odd in itself, but I just feel like it brightens it up, and it adds a little bit more texture also. I feel like brown is such like a neutral like shade color, and adding a color that's like completely a different tone entirely, and it brings a little bit more cool tones, really just works perfectly and cohesively with the rest of the build. So that's why I kind of ended up liking the bathrooms the most, because they had like a lot of blue in them in contrast of the brown. I'm also adding more clutter to the desk, trying to make it a little bit more exciting. This is the first bathroom, which didn't really take me that long. I thought the bathrooms would take me the most time, but they ended up being like super simple. As soon as I started, I knew exactly what I wanted, and as soon as I got the flooring and the wallpaper tile in, I knew exactly what I wanted both bathrooms to look like, because usually I make bathrooms kind of look similar to each other. I don't see the point of making them completely different, unless you want to kind of try something different. I end up adding a shower, a sink, and a toilet in here. But yeah, so I really ended up liking this build. And I also liked the mirror I used in this specific bathroom also. I felt like it worked really well, the vibe in the house. And with this sink specifically, I really liked. I was going to use that one, but I just ended up not using it because I felt like it was a little too bulky and it didn't go with the sink properly. But all in all, I really like the bathrooms in this build. I feel like they're fresh, you know? And the usage of brown was like really smart, and the black tile for the flooring just like works really nice. I think it looks really cute. Here I am just adding a cabinet sort of thing. And I do end up using kind of this like modern looking plant only because I feel like it just worked too well not to use it. I feel like using it in the doorway would have stood out negatively, but in the bathroom I feel like it's okay to kind of put something a little bit more modern. Yeah, so I'm just adding a calendar here, end up replacing that one. And I think I'm looking for artwork. Yeah, I end up using this like really bold blue one right here, and I size it down. I just felt like it was just makes the bathroom just look so sleek. I really like the look of it. This has to be my favorite color combination for a bathroom. I mentioned in my other build that the bathrooms were just in general lackluster for me to do a makeover on, so the fact that the bathrooms in this build end up being my favorite is quite ironic in my opinion. This is the dining room space, so I wanted it to be quite simple. I was going to use that glass table, but I always use that glass table and I felt like it was getting repetitive, so I ended up replacing it with something completely different, which was this one. I just felt like it fit with the house better, and it also just was something new. I went in with the navy blue chairs, and here like you start to see like how much navy blue that I'm trying to incorporate. As soon as I like saw the look of it, I wanted to add it everywhere. So that's what that's looking like. I end up putting this beside the desk area and having the calendar on top of it. And yeah, so I'm trying to figure out what I want to do with the dining room space. This is a very cute section. Usually I don't have the dining room space closed off, but it was nice to try something new. And I wanted to maintain the integrity of the build, so I didn't really want to change it too much. I end up using this painting, I just don't leave it on that wall. I put it on the wall to the right, only because I felt like it was just the perfect size. Sometimes I just add items that I think like would look nice, but I end up like changing the positioning due to just the size, you know? I feel like sometimes when I size down or size up an item, it just looks weird. The pixels are kind of like spread out a little too much. Here I am. I think I end up adding a lamp to the to one of the corners of this dining room space just to warm up the area. I also kept the lighting in this house the same. I just felt like they worked perfectly already and I couldn't think of anything better, so I just left that the same. But yeah, the wallpaper kind of all looks the same too. I couldn't find like something I liked better than this one. Here I am just replacing the pictures and just figuring out kind of like how I want everything to kind of look. I wanted to continue to add items that were practical to the dining room. I just felt like it's such a small space, so it was kind of challenging to find an item that would look okay sized down, like a teapot cabinet, stuff like that. This like shelf that I used in that corner there is specifically like I think it's supposed to be used in the washroom, but I felt like it didn't look too bad there. Here I am doing the kitchen. I thought I was going to use the same cabinets, but I just ended up changing everything. Because I do want to make this build a little bit less the original, right? I didn't want to do a makeover and for the makeover to look exactly the same. So I decided to challenge myself and go completely different. So I'm just looking for like a backsplash. I end up going with a similar like navy blue look like this one. I'm just playing around with the placement of it. And I do realize that I actually make the kitchen slightly smaller by one tile than she did in her build, which I thought was cool. It's a little different, and I'm happy I kind of made it a tiny bit smaller so I can use the space in between the kitchen and the dining room for kind of like an area for pets. I just end up placing 2 pet beds, which I think looked really cool, and bookshelves. Here I am trying to play around with like the kitchen set. Yeah, and I think it looks really cool. There's a lot of cool tones in this kitchen that I enjoyed using, and I think it looked really cool at the end. Yeah, so I'm trying to see what fridge I want to use. I wanted to use something that kind of fit perfectly with I was really close to using that fridge actually, because I felt like it was so satisfying using a fridge that fits perfectly with the kitchen set. Not a lot of fridges do, and they're usually you kind of have to use like move objects to kind of maneuver them in a specific way. I'm really happy with how this kitchen turned out. I thought it looked really cool. It looked really cozy. It had a lot of brown, of course. And yeah, it looked really fresh. When you guys see the before and after pictures later on in this video, you'll see like much more of a bigger difference in just like the kitchen and each room of the house. Here I am just adding like a bunch of just like kitchen clutter items. I love using this pack. I've mentioned it I think a million times in my videos, but it's everything you could possibly need in a kitchen. Obviously, there are some base game options that work perfectly, but I feel like it's just so convenient to filter out this pack and just use it. It makes your life a little bit easier, and the items in the pack they work really good. The amount of detail that went into this pack was like really good. And yeah, so I think it was very well made. And the variety of each item was really cool. Here I'm also trying to add like a little bit of more blue in the swatches when it comes to the clutter. So if you notice that, it was just to kind of make the kitchen just flow better with the blue backsplash. But yeah, so I'm super excited for the new pack. I have a bunch of plans for it, and I also want to complete, hopefully, at least the building part of Generation 5 before next week, just so I can feel like I'm a little less behind. So I'm really excited to explore the pack, and I really was thinking about making a gameplay series, like actually getting into game, creating a character, and playing with the fairies. I think that would be cool, and I think it would add a little bit more variety on my channel. So far it's been just reviews and speed builds, and I really just I really want to try new things, and since I am still beginning, I think it's a good time to kind of venture off and do other stuff in The Sims than just building, you know? So, really excited for that. And yeah, I think that's it for like the explanations and the kind of overall description of this build. Again, I will link her video in my description. Check her out, and make sure, if you haven't already, leave a like, comment, and subscribe. I really enjoy seeing your guys' comments down below, and make sure to stay tuned for the screenshots at the end of the video. And yeah, see you guys in my next video. Have a great day, guys. Bye.
Be carefree lately, yeah. Just kicking up daisies. Got one too many quarters in my pockets. Count 'em like the four-leaf clovers in my locket. Untied laces, yeah. Just tripping on daydreams. Got dirty little lullabies playing on repeat. Might as well just ride around the nursery and count sheep. traveling the mountains just to find the loudest tears. We set down by the fire, knowing we could aim higher, but we didn't know that yet. So if you want something to hold on to, gotta find it first. But here I am, 'cause I've been laying under palm trees, waiting for the summer, knowing there's nowhere to go. 'Cause I am happy on this island, wanna be my farmland. I don't ever want to leave, I'm in a tropic club. I remember the ocean, memories die out too hard. But we were traveling the mountains just to find the loudest tears. We sat down by the fire, knowing we could aim higher, but we didn't know that yet. So if you want something to hold on to, gotta find it first. But here I am, 'cause I've been laying under palm trees, waiting for the summer, knowing there's nowhere to go. 'Cause I am happy on this island, wanna be my farmland.